Okay, I'm back. I thought I'd show you what I've been working on. Look at this. It's a turtle. He even has a tail. And so I've built him as a solid piece of clay. That's the way I would start my ocarina. Nice solid chunk of clay, and then let it get leather hard. Step one. Okay, we're back. I'm wearing the same coat because it's cold in my house. And it's kind of, junky, so we don't worry about getting it dirty with clay. So here's my little turtle, and he's leather hard now. Leather hard, right? So we're gonna take him and we're gonna cut him in half to hollow him. So I've got one of my little plastic knives here, and I'm gonna go ahead and slice him right down the middle. Whew. Ah. E. Oh. Ah. There we go. And he's perfectly in half here. So something important about ocarinas, when you go to hollow, you're going to want to make sure to leave solid everything where you're going to be putting the hole through to make the whistle. So I'm going to leave his head solid, and I'm going to leave a ½ inch all the way back to here on my turtle. From here back will be hollow, from here forward will be solid. And that will help make it easy to get it to whistle. We'll see. Okay, we're back. And I've been working on hollowing my turtle out. And I think you can see that it's hollow inside there. And if I were to measure with my fingers, when I put my finger in, it stops right here. And everything from here forward is solid. So the neck is solid and the first section of the body is all solid clay in there. Okay, so that's super important. And I like to smooth out the insides of a musical instrument, which is different from some hollowing, because you don't necessarily see it. But we're gonna put holes in here so we don't want the air to get hung up on a bunch of weird stuff. So that's the next step. Solid from right here forward on the ocarina all the way down and up through the neck. This is going to set up for making it easy to whistle. Okay, so some issues are if you work with the clay while it's too wet, it will collapse on you and it will get sticky, and then it'll be hard to work. So make sure it's pretty leather hard, but not too hard, because you want to be able to stab through. Other issues are if you keep on trying and trying and trying and it doesn't work, you're getting this whole section wetter and wetter, and then it gets sticky and it is hard to work. So I recommend trying it a couple times and then just taking a break. And you're going to put the knife tool through, all the way through. Try to keep following your same angle. Make sure that it comes across and that your bevel touches right down on that knife. Use the pencil to flatten it out so it's nice and smooth and even with a really sharp edge, no tears in it. Then release the knife. Then you're looking through the front end of it, making sure that you can see both the bevel and the room that you're sitting in. And then once that's happening, block it up and blow and see if it works. You have to make sure that you are sealing your the air on the back end of it completely in order to test it. And then if it doesn't work, you're going to check to see that if the main hole is blocked up here, and if that bevel is sitting down low enough, or perhaps like mine, the reason it won't whistle is it's gotten torn on this front edge right here, where it's closest to the sound hole. It's not straight, it's kind of a rough and ragged mess. And the deck work continues. So I'm putting my knife in there, and I'm going to add a little clay back to the front edge of this bevel, and then I'm going to reconnect it just like that, making sure there's an angle there, Making sure when I take it out, I'm gonna wiggle my knife a little bit and see if that made a straighter edge. So now I'm looking through again to see if I can see both things. And also if your opening, see how my opening got really big? It's too big. So I'm gonna close that down quite a bit. Also, make sure your opening's not leaking on the side. My knife is kind of fat, and so it almost cut a hole right through here. So I'm gonna make sure that those are sealed up too. So it's all about air and making sure it's sealed up really good. So I'm gonna make that correction, and then I'm gonna check it. No whistle yet. So mine wasn't working because I made my head too small and my knife has cut a hole through it and it's creating a leak of air around the outside edge. So even though I'd like my head to be thinner, if it's actually gonna whistle, I'm gonna have to do that. So I'm fixing that on both sides, adding some width. Okay, so the last one here for troubleshooting. So look inside here and see what it looks like. You can see that the hole where the sound comes out is pretty damn small. You can see how narrow it is. It should be narrow as that or even narrower. And on the front side, you gotta make sure, like I said, that your sides don't leak and also that this opening is narrower. And then when you look through the critter, through the end that you plan to blow on, you're going to want to be able to see the bevel inside that opening and right below the bevel. Then to test it, you're gonna seal up the back end of it, and it should whistle without a whole lot of effort. Just a light blow should make it whistle. Like that. So here's what it looks like on the inside. Again, nice narrow opening here, narrow opening at the mouth, no leaks at the side. And from the top, you can see that the opening where the air releases out the top is really narrow too. No bigger than your pencil, okay? Otherwise, it will also not want to whistle. And then this bevel needs to be nice and smooth and a sharp, even point at the edge closest to where the air passes over. All right, see you in office hours if it don't make sense. Bye. Okay, now we're gonna score and slip it back together. Look at this idea, people. This is an idea whose time has come. Look at how easy it is to get all this scored and slipped. So score and slip your edges together. Be careful not to distort the form too much or it could change how your thing whistles. If it stops whistling when you put it back together, don't worry. You'll be able to put your tools in there and get it to work again. So I'm gonna apply my slip that I made. Remember that's water and a little bit of vinegar to dissolve the clay. And then score and slip your critter back together. Okay, we got slip on both edges. Oh man, my turtle isn't the same size anymore after all that work on it, so I have to fuss around with it and push the form back into shape so the puzzle pieces match. All right, that's better. That's good. So don't forget after you slip it to use some pressure to push those edges together. And then what do you need on your seam? A seam worm. Don't forget to build one of those. Okay, so now we're here. We've got our turtle all back together again, and we're gonna see if he works. Oh, it works. Yay. So now I can begin the process of refining his form, make his little tail stick out, fix up all the messes, and decide on his other aspects of a design. And then the last step will be to put some holes in it. Okay? Yay. Hi. So here I am now working on finishing up the turtle. So I had to stop and consult a turtle to to find out how many plates it has on its shell, and it turns out it's 13 for the 13 moons that we have in our moon cycle. And then I was also looking at his legs and working on some texture for the legs by kind of carving in. I also have more work to do on the shell, but I just kind of drew it out for myself. So this is the fun part, if you ask me, is coming up with all of this kind of the decoration part. As you're working, I would just recommend that you keep testing to make sure that you didn't squish something and make it stop whistling. So just keep checking that. And if it stops whistling, you're going to put your knife tool in so it supports the backside of your bevel as you were building it. And then you can put your pencil in and just tweak it a little bit. And again, look through the hole with it level and make sure you can see the bevel, and underneath the bevel some light coming in from your hole on top. So I'm looking through to see it, and I can, so he still whistles. So this is the fun part. Have fun. This one I'm going to give to my son Max because it was decided on moving day that his energy was desert tortoise energy, whatever that means. See you soon. Hey there. Last one. Let's put some holes in this sucker. Make it an instrument. So, does it still blow? Yay. So, to add a hole, I would use a sharpened pencil, and you're going to want to make the holes go just to either side of the sound hole, but behind the sound hole. So from here this way, and along this line here, and this line here. So I'm going to put a first hole like right about there. Punch that in. See what happens. Hold on to this thing, and there it is. I drilled it. Cool. If it doesn't work, give it a little cleaning. Make sure you didn't mess up your sound hole relationship. And then on you go. Another one. Again, along this line and behind the sound hole works best. Oh, and they can be smaller holes too. So mine gets a little breathy there. So I'm going to go back and adjust my sound hole, my bevel and sound hole to fix that. Okay, so I did that, and there was just a little chunk of clay right in the way. Right in the sound hole part. So I just pushed that out of the way by putting the knife tool back in and pulling it back out. Okay, time for another hole. I'm going to go a little bit further back and a little bit farther over and see if I can get another one there. Whoop. There it goes. And let's see if we can get one more. I'm just going to poke it in right there. Boop, boop, boop. Puncture all the way down in. So again, a little trouble, so I'm going to stop and fix. Sound hole. Okay, again, I just had to redo the bevel a little bit by putting the knife into and then readjusting. And really what it was a little chunk down here inside that was just in the way, just enough. Ta-da! An ocarina. To turn it in, you're going to play me the ocarina and then give me your what you consider your critique of the ocarina. So, where's your texture? What design elements did you do? Does it play well? How's your finish work? So, Good luck. Give me some time, or get some time at office hours if you need it. Bye.